South Africa have lost the second ODI against India by 7 wickets. India were dominant in this match, I would say, to a degree in certain areas. But there was a specific period in the match that I feel South Africa lost this match. And to me personally, it was the final 5 overs of this match for South Africa's first innings, the batting innings. I think that's where the match was lost. I also do have a couple of opinions about certain aspects of the start of this game with regards to the toss, etc., which we'll get into a little bit later. But before we get going, before we get started, this is a show that we're going to be talking about everything in the match between India and South Africa. But before we get going, if you are new to this channel and this is the first time that you're here, please click subscribe. Please click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Also, smash the like button, comment, and share. And also, download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. And also, if you want to help us grow and promote South African cricket, you can get involved with the Patron account. You can click on the link on the screen as well as in the description. And if you want our updates and our reports, etc., of different matches, etc., then go to our cricketfanaticsmag.com, which is our main website for all of that information. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to chatting to you, but also not, guys, because I'm a bit irritated with certain things that happen in this match. So let's get straight into it. A very good evening. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host. Your review show. Sorry, I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the second ODI between South Africa and India. Now, it was a terrible performance from South Africa, I feel, with regards to certain aspects of this game. There were certain sections of the game that I think we performed well in. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the toss. India seemed quite happy with South Africa's decision to bat first in this match. I think this had a lot to do with the fact that this was a day-night game, of course, and that there was going to be a little bit of dew later on. And we saw that affect South Africa quite a bit with regards to the control of the ball out of the hand. We saw them wiping down the ball quite a bit, even change it a little bit later in the innings. So first and foremost, the decision to bat first, I think it was a little bit of a tricky surface to a degree, but once your eye is in, you can bat quite well here, it seemed. So it was about spending that time at the crease to get your eye in and then to take on the bowlers that are struggling with their consistencies. First and foremost, let's start with Quinton de Kock's wicket. Again, I'm concerned about the way he's losing his wickets. There's almost like a lapse in concentration so early on in his innings. We plays at deliveries that are so wide that aren't very dangerous at all, or not posing any danger on him, and he fishes for it and he always chops it on. Now he's been losing his wickets like that quite regularly. Yanaman Malan, it was unfortunate. Very unfortunate, I guess. He looked in again and then lost his wicket, also to spin once again. But I have to give props to REEZA Hendricks specifically. I'm going to put an emphasis on him today because this is not the first time that he's been put in this situation, been asked to do the impossible, and then goes and does it. I remember before the 2019 World Cup, he was in amazing form, and we thought that he would be selected in the World Cup squad. And on the last minute, they decided to change their mind and they selected the likes of Aiden Markram and Hashim Amla ahead of him in that particular squad. Then he went and he got his form back, changed his game, started working on his T20 game, got put into a very difficult circumstance in the World Cup, in the T20 World Cup, where Quinton de Kock pulled out. didn't want to play the match, and then was thrown into kind of into the deep end as an opener, and then ended up performing really well in the matches. Uh, then again, now was given the opportunity to show what he's capable of. Went on a run of 4 matches on the trot, half centuries in T20 cricket, 42 in the fifth match. Then never saw another T20 game after that. Gets into the ODI team right now because of an illness to Bavuma and performs immediately. Gets the opportunity and performs. So every single time that REEZA Hendricks has been put into these situations, he comes out on top. I don't see a reason why South Africa can even think about dropping him now from now on going forward. I think in T20 cricket even, I think he needs to be with the form that he's currently showing, no matter what the conditions are. I feel that he deserves an opportunity to play in the T20 matches in the World Cup. He's the most informed batter out of him and Temba. It's always been between the two of them. And I feel that he's more informed than Temba currently. And unfortunately, I think form has to take has to take preference. And then I start to sit down and think about the other captaincy options. And Keshav had a terrible game as a captain today, I feel, with regards to the decision at the toss. I think that was a mistake. But also with his fielding, with his batting at the end. Let's just talk about that, because I feel that last 5 overs lost us the game. I'm again having an issue with the fact that David Miller was at the crease. His eye was in. He was already 30 balls at the crease. And Maharaj is facing a lot of the balls and swinging and missing. And there was no intent to get David Miller on strike for majority of that last 4 overs. It was shocking from my point of view. And I've been saying this for quite some time, actually, when it comes to Miller. I've been complaining about this aspect of his game for a while. And maybe not always is it his fault, because, I mean, the captain was on the other end in this occasion, and he wasn't looking to rotate the strike. There's been other occasions where I watched Miller in the situation where, yes, the batter at the other end is trying to get themselves on strike or off strike, and they just can't. But in this case, it didn't necessarily look like that. It looked like Keshav was going for boundaries and swinging. And the intent wasn't to get David on strike. But also on top of it, when David has an opportunity to maybe rotate the strike and farm the strike, he takes the single at the end of at the penultimate ball of the over. So it's weird things that like this that irritates me a little bit, because I think that we were clearly 30, 40, or maybe even 50 runs short that we could have gotten even with the wickets that fell, with the match situation where we were at. So with regards to Keshav, I think that Keshav was at fault for not trying to give that particular strike to Miller as best as possible. That the intent wasn't there. The intent was to get boundaries. A lot of people might also look at me and say, wait, but it's the last 2 overs. You try to get as much runs as possible. But you also need to make sure that you make the right decision by giving the best person, the person that has the best ability to get boundaries, the opportunity to face the most amount of balls. So in this occasion, I do think that Keshav was largely at fault with regards to not getting off strike fast enough to give Miller the opportunity to face most of the balls. We've got a caller right now. Let me get him on the show. Welcome to the show, Siddiq. What would you like to say, brother? Hello?
Hello, Khalid.
Hello, you can, what would you like to say, bro?
Yeah, I want to
Hello?
talk about couple of things. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I want to talk about couple of things.
Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, I want to talk about intent or lack of intent in the limited overs teams of South Africa, no matter if it's ODI or T20I. I mean, if you look at this ODI or in this ODI series, you can see that from start we have no intent. I mean, openers lack intent from the word go. On a pitch, the new ball was easiest to face. They were like 40 or something in the first 10 overs, which is absolutely crap start in an ODI in 2022. I mean, we play like it's 2000.
Mm. I agree with you there, and
Hello?
I agree with you over there when you're talking about that, Sadiq, because I've been speaking about it,
Can
and
you hear
that is a
me?
lot. I can hear you fine. Yes, there's just a little bit of a lag over here on Sadiq's side. I'm just going to answer his question. So with regards to intent, that has a lot to do with also with selection at this very time, at this moment. And I've said it many times before when I said that Janaman Malan and Quentin de Kock, they're both kind of approaching their games in a similar manner currently. A lot of people have this idea that Quentin de Kock comes out flying and swinging. He needs to be really in the top of at the top of his game for us to see that side of Quentin de Kock. Someone that comes out and swings and goes and attacks it, hits every ball, and it looks like it's every single ball is the ball to be eaten by him. Generally speaking, Quentin de Kock takes his time to get his eye in, and then he goes and he's dangerous later on in the innings. Yanaman Malan does the similar thing in ODI cricket. So we have two batters basically doing that. We need to find a way on how to keep our opening batters at the crease for as long as possible, because we keep on losing early wickets in all of the formats, whether it's Test cricket, ODI cricket, or T20 cricket. The approach to this is different in every format, however. So they need to find ways to try and survive as a pair, give themselves milestones. They want to try and at least survive 15 overs every single game minimum as an opening pair in ODI cricket. You don't want to see yourself losing wickets early, and they need to try and push for at least 15 overs, to 10 overs, 15 overs without losing a wicket. You want to at least survive the power play without losing a wicket, and try to put as much pressure on the opposition as possible. But in the batting department, we struggle to do so, and we need to start getting that right. Going forward, I agree that there was a lack of intent. You could say, to a degree, it was a bit slow at the beginning, and in both ODIs, South Africa showed that. We're taking quite some time to get settled into ODI games. We tend to score our runs at the latter stages more, and in the middle overs. So it is something South Africa needs to work on. That transition into the new generation of cricket, I never really found it boring, because I like the way REEZA and Aiden went about their business today. I like the way they approached it, but I don't think that our openers approached it in the right way. There wasn't enough singles. Running between the wickets wasn't as good. I feel that that's something that we need to increase and improve, especially with all our batters. Actually, is that running between the wickets is a problem. We don't really run between the wickets on and off often enough, and we don't really try um, to put pressure back on the opposition bowlers. We like to accumulate dot balls, which is crazy. We've got Justin with us right now. I'm going to bring him on right now. Welcome to the show, bro. What would you like to say?
Hey Khalid, no, I think Nortje is a concern, a big concern for South Africa. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you perfectly.
And the other thing is this, Pavuma needs to come back, and I don't know how. I think Riza is gonna be the man to bench again, and that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, I think Nortje needs to step away from and improve his game.
Yeah, you see, I think the problem with Anrich Nortje at the moment is that pace. On certain wickets, pace goes to the boundary very quickly. There's not much you need to do to get that ball to fly to the boundary. So in certain conditions, it doesn't really suit necessarily Anrich Nortje. The biggest problem with him is that he is working on variations, etc. But on wickets where it's not all about raw pace, he tends to struggle, because he needs some sort of deliveries that he can pull back his pace, maybe some variations, maybe some Yorkers, maybe some, I don't know what it is, to add to his game to make him a little bit less obvious and little less open to be smacked to the boundary. I think that's the problem currently, because in Test cricket, he can just keep the same line and length, and you'll be fine. He just has to hit the top of off, and you'll find the edge because of his pace and the intensity over a long period of time. In T20 cricket, he just needs to have bursts of special deliveries. He needs to change it up a lot. But in ODI cricket, it's a balance between the two for someone like him. I think he needs to find a way to find a rhythm in ODI cricket where he is consistently deadly. And maybe he needs to tap into those shorter deliveries, maybe lethal bounces to be a little bit meaner, or perhaps he needs to go for the Yorker. So it's something that I feel that he does need to work on. But also, it doesn't help when you are playing a game, not playing, then not playing. There's no rhythm with regards to him in the team and selection.
Yeah, I agree.
And where else do you think we went wrong in this match?
I think definitely Markram throwing his wicket away to lose and the cock. Yeah, the cock. Even
Okay.
Yanaman Malan, he needs to kick on. He can't be scoring 20s every game now.
Yeah.
He's a better player than that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we're going to see regularly from Yanaman until he finds his game fully, because he's going to take some time to get his eye in and then kick on. That's just how Yanaman plays his game currently. So I'm hoping that it does improve, and maybe, I could even perhaps see in the future maybe a number 4 position for him, where it will force him to actually play a more attacking game from the outset. But Justin, thanks a lot for calling in. I enjoyed the points that you had to make. Anything else you want to say before you leave?
Uh, just one last thing is that for the last match, I would like to bring in Marco Janssen for Point Panel and Nangiri for Nortje.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot. I'll talk about that now. Thanks a lot, Justin, for calling in. Please call in again in the future. Okay, yeah. Talking about that next match, and thinking about what we're gonna need to do there. We will do a preview show tomorrow about this, where we get into the discussions about what we're gonna do for the for the final ODI. We need to win this ODI, of course. We need to get the points so that we can have have a positive end to this tour, and then get some points on that leaderboard for the Super League. We've got another caller in with me now. We've got Lichle for calling in again. Welcome to the show, brother. What would you like to say?
Khalid, welcome. Just before I speak about the match, I just wanted to comment about this SA under 19 winning this tournament, and I'm excited that they've won. But Khalid, this exposed another weakness in our system. I mean, how can an under 19 team win against professional players? You know, yes, I'm happy that they won, but it also exposes a weakness where they were unbeaten in the whole tournament. I mean, I can ask you, what does it mean for an SA under 19 team to win all games against the likes of the Northern Cape Heat, professional players who've been doing this for a lot of long years? And I just wanted to know your thoughts about this before I can speak about this game.
It means that we have a great young pipeline. That's what it means. No,
Aren't you shocked that we beat professional players? I mean, are you not shocked? What does it say about our system if they can come and beat all the teams and just the freeway?
So let's look at it from this perspective, right?
Yeah.
This is not our first division, right? It's a lot of the second division. It's mostly second division teams, right? When you look at our first division teams, there are a lot of under 19 players that are already making first division teams. So that means that the talent in our team, they're getting first division contracts. So this is actually very good, I think, for our system, that our under 19 teams are doing well. To win the tournament, perhaps, maybe. I see what your concern is over there. But at least we know that our under 19s are on the right track. You know what I mean? At least our under 19 system's on the right track, because majority of the previous under 19 players are already playing in the Division 1.
Yeah,
they're playing for they contracted over there too. So even if you look at this is under 19 team, when you look at the players in this team, Boast is already contracted by the Titans. You got the likes of George van Heerden. He's playing for Stellenbosch. He's already playing with CD Boland, etc. So there's
Yeah.
There are some players already in here that are really, really, really good. But it is a little bit of a
And
shock, and that obviously they won, but it's also good.
yeah, yes, yes. Just before I talk about the game, I just want to say to South Africans, look out for this man, Kwena Mapaka. That bowler is one for the future. I can see him in the Proteas in 3 years' time. I is the next
I
KT, that
agree.
boy. Yeah, yeah,
I don't
so
don't put
fast.
the, don't put the hey, don't put it on his head yet.
Like okay. Khalid, yeah, I'm very disappointed. I watched the game today, even though I was working. But yeah, I'm very disappointed with how we played. But I'm happy that Bjorn Fontaine got game time. I think it was very encouraging to see him getting game time, even though I could see that he was so frustrated because that pitch, the two players, Aya and Kishan are playing spin very well. But I'm very happy that he got some game time. And Parnell also, I think he bowled well. Yes, there might be those odd bad deliveries, but I think he played very well today. Yeah, but I think the thing that costed us a lot was that opening partnership that failed between Malan and de Kock. I think it put us on the back foot, Malan and de Kock.
Hmm. I agree with you, and I said it a little bit earlier on. I spoke about that, and I said that yes, that's a major factor. But I
Yes.
also think that the way we batted at the back end was poor. I think that David Miller didn't face enough balls at the end. I
Markram.
mean, there were
Mm.
5 overs left when I think we lost the wicket of
Yes.
Parnell, I think, or 4 overs left or something like that, and Miller
Mm.
still remained on 30 balls, so 30 odd balls. So he's barely faced at the
It was
end,
like he was
and his
playing
eye
a
was
test
in.
match.
No, it's almost like
Yeah.
I didn't want to give the strike to the informed batter, which was weird. And and
Okay.
and Keshav Maharaj was standing and delivering and swinging instead of trying to look for a single, which was a bit of a shock for
Mm.
me. And I think we could have gotten at least 35, 40 runs in that last over, and it would have made a massive difference.
Yo, Khalid, REEZA Hendricks played very well today. Wow. Wow. He played very well. And I really feel for a guy like REEZA also, man. He's in the form of his life. Even Chris Morris said on commentary that he thinks that he's in the form of his life at the moment and he's not getting a lot of game time. But something must happen in that T20 team. You must get REEZA Hendricks in there. I don't know who will step aside. But yeah, man, REEZA Hendricks is wow.
Yeah, he's batting incredibly, even domestically. When I looked at his
Yeah, yeah.
stats for domestic cricket as well, he's been incredible form.
Mhm.
I
For
think he
many
only
years.
has. I think in the last 15 game or last 12 games or something like that. I think he only has two
Mm.
scores under 30, two scores under 40. Everything else is 30,
Yeah,
30 and a
that's
30, 41, and then the rest is all half centuries and a ton. So he's been doing exceptionally well. Lihle, anything
Khalid,
else you want to say before you leave?
uh, just just before I leave, with Makram, we know that he's talented, Khalid. Ne? When are we going to put the line on Makram and say, Makram, we have given you enough opportunities. Yes, you have talent, but you have not reached your potential. Go back to domestic cricket. When are we going to put that red line and give other batters in our domestic setup a chance? Or are we just going and saying, no, he won the under 19 World Cup, let us continue persisting with him, he will come good. Like, where do we put that red line, especially in ODI cricket? You know?
Yeah, in ODI cricket, it's difficult because I myself can't understand why Markram isn't performing in ODI cricket. It's something that it's like the big secret that everybody's trying to figure out because he started off really well in 50 over cricket. Then he had a tough start in ODI cricket because he was thrown in the deep end as a captain against a very good India side at home. I was at that games. I was at the presser when they announced it. I had a chat with him after the game, before the games and stuff to get an understanding of where his head was. But I could see he was nervous. You could tell it in his obviously. You mean you were young, 21, 22 year old, I think it was at the time, and you have to go now and captain your team and an inexperienced team against India, which shocked him in ODI cricket. That gave him the wrong start to his ODI career. And then in T20 cricket, he struggled too for a while until something happened. There was a switch, and now he is is potent in T20 cricket. And I can't understand put my finger on what the reason is why I can't do it in ODI cricket. Because we send him to domestic cricket and he scores 1,000 runs. He comes back and he struggles again. So it is very confusing on what he's doing in 50 over game that he's not getting it right.
He's a very
Today,
elegant player. You can see the thoughts. He played spin very well. I mean, I can't understand why he can't convert 50s into 100s. I really can't understand, Markram.
Yeah, and nobody can, and we can't put our finger on it because at domestic level he does it every time. At domestic
You are
level he
very
dominates.
frustrated. He dominates,
so
yeah. But yeah, Khalid,
Yeah.
man, thank you very much. Man.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you again.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Okay, the next one we've got on the line is Lorenzo. Welcome to the show, brother. What would you like to say?
Hi, Khalid. I'll be doing good, man.
Yeah, I'm okay. Liverpool's losing at the moment, so I'm good.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I was happy. Yeah, to the performance today, I think we started off well. I think when REEZA Hendricks and Aiden Markram came together, I think they put in a solid partnership. And just my take on REEZA today, I think he was absolutely fantastic today. Just the way he batted. Um, if he scores a boundary, he make a single next ball. You know, he rotated the strike very, very well today. And that's actually what we want to see from Tim, a player like Timber. But actually, Aiden, REEZA Hendricks so today why he is in form and why he should be one of the first guys on the team sheet for the T20 World Cup. I just feel, Khalid, that there's no way he can't play in the World Cup. There's just no way. For me, I told my brother also this, right? I feel that the selectors, this might sound a bit silly, um, but I feel the selectors didn't at all want to give him a game on this tour because they know if he's going to get the opportunity, he's going to score runs, and it's going to make their job more difficult to drop Pavuma for REEZA Hendricks at the World Cup. So I actually feel that if Tembo wasn't sick today, REEZA wouldn't have played. He wouldn't have played the last ODI. He maybe would have played one of the two warm-up games leading up to the World Cup. He maybe would have played there. But I just feel in this series, he wouldn't have played one game if Timber was fit or healthy. So I just feel that he should be playing at the World Cup. He should open the batting with Quinn in the cock. You get to see how the guy he played one innings and he scored more runs. He showed more potential than Timber Bavuma showed on this whole tour. So what are we gonna do?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this, and so maybe you guys don't know this, obviously, because when you on Twitter you don't know these things. But after REEZA hit the 20-run mark, I tweeted saying that the REEZA Hendricks, there shouldn't be any questions about his potential. Because, not about his potential, about his position. I can't remember the exact tweet, but there shouldn't be any questions around his position in the team. Because already in that first 20 runs that he scored, you could already see that he is in form. We have someone over here, and even if he goes off form and doesn't score runs, at least he's looking good at the crease. Compared to Bavuma, who doesn't. He looks like he's struggling and still not getting runs. So that's a big problem for me at the moment. We are putting out a player that is currently can only get himself out ultimately. At the moment, it looks like it. So I don't see how they can continuously not pick him. It doesn't make sense to me. You want your best team to play in this World Cup. If you want the best chance to win, if you know that it's going to give you an advantage in the power play where we are struggling currently, even in ODIs, I would open with him at some point. In ODIs, I would think about opening up in the future because I really think that, for me personally, I like Yanaman Malan as an opener with Quinn de Kock a lot. I do like the pair, but I feel like they're becoming very similar as Quinn is getting older and as Yanaman is finding himself. I think kind of at the moment their paths are crossing it and they're becoming similar type of players within the team. Both players that are taking their time to get in and then pushing in later on in the innings. It seems like they're both doing the same thing. And I would like to spice that up a little bit. REEZA's looking like he changed his game a lot. He's coming out, he's given himself a couple of games to get his eye in, but then he's going for it. He's looking for positive shots. He's looking to get the ball. And if he's not, he's rotating the strike. That was the thing for me about REEZA that impressed me the most today. Where Aiden was hitting beautiful shots straight to the fielder, REEZA Hendricks was
Yes,
finding a way to get himself off strike every time that he
like
couldn't hit the ball to the boundary. And that was the difference I feel between the two today that showed the class. And that shows to me that REEZA Hendricks should be in this team. At the moment, he's in the form of his life. I don't think anybody's been as in good form as REEZA Hendricks has been currently, domestically and internationally. I think in 12 games he's only hit three scores. I think about below. Um, that's not a half century, and all of them are above 30. That's the crazy thing about it. So he's been
yeah.
very very good domestically and internationally currently in white ball cricket.
But my thing is this, Khalid. Like, why? I'm sure the selectors can see it. They can see that at the moment, Reece Hendricks is a far better T20 cricketer than Timber Bavuma, right? But my thing is this: we can see it, they know it, but why don't they make the choice? Say, look here, Timber, you're still going to be part of the squad, you're still going to be captain, but we're going to play REEZA instead because he's in form. I'm sure Timber's a big boy, he would take it because he also knows he's not on form. And he also maybe don't want to feel like he's handicapping the team because he knows he's out of form. But obviously, as a player, he's not going to say it. He's not going to say, look, you guys, drop me, play REEZA. Right? Maybe he's looking for that out where a selector or Mark Boucher tell him, look here, you're not in form. We're not going to select you. You're still going to be part of the squad as a backup batter. Maybe he's looking for that out. Right? But my thing is this. There's always a narrative, especially on social media, right? I'm talking T20 cricket now, Khalid. I don't care about this ODIs because we're going to
Can I
play
just say something
qualifiers.
before you move? Before you go on there, just about those ODIs and the T20s.
Yes.
I never saw this ODI series as an ODI series. From what Bob
Yeah, I
Boucher told
agree.
us in the press conferences, we were told that they're going to keep the squad similar and they're going to give people opportunities to get into form. And the whole focus is the T20 World Cup. But I'm not seeing that style of cricket, unless this is the style of cricket
Mm-mm.
we're going to be playing in the T20 World Cup. So it's a bit confusing because they're not necessarily approaching this with that mentality. Because I would have loved if the fixtures were reversed. If we play the T20 second and the ODIs first,
Second
that
year.
I would have preferred that. Yeah, that I would have preferred. But maybe that's because also India were thinking they want to give some guys an opportunity. I mean, they want to give their guys an opportunity to rest before the warm up. So both ways we can look at it. But from that perspective, yeah, I continue because I just wanted to say that we were given, and I'm not sure if you got the same message from the presses or if it's
Yeah,
just
I
me
did.
that maybe got that vibe.
No, Boucher said definitely said, and even Tim also said, or mostly Boucher that this one series they're going to look at a few players and they're going to play the similar brand of cricket they're going to play in the T20s. That's what he said in in his press conference. But yeah, in any
Mm.
case, my thing is this: I don't, to be honest with you, I don't care about this ODI series. For me, we're going to play qualifiers, so I don't care. The thing is this: I'm talking T20 cricket now because I feel that's more important. The World Cup starts next now this week. My thing is this, Khalid. There's always a narrative on Twitter or social media that when it comes to Timber, right? You know, I've always backed Timber in ODI and Test cricket. I feel he's fantastic in those two formats, and for me, arguably, Timber's best format is ODI cricket because it suits his game to the T, right? But my thing is this, Khalid. Why, when Timber didn't score runs in the T20 series, and Riley Russell wasn't scoring runs. People said, no, Timber mustn't be dropped. Riley must be dropped for REEZA Hendricks, right? Riley scored 100. Nobody's talking about that anymore, right? So what's going to happen now? Is people going to say, no, Yanaman must be dropped and Tim must play in place of Yanaman? But why can't it be that? Just tell Timber, we're not going to select you because you're out of form. Why must it always be other guys that must be dropped for a guy that's out of form? That's where I feel it's unfair to other players that shows more, that is more in form, but just because the guy is a good leader and captain, he should play. And I don't feel that is fair, right? If you look at Australia, England, and even New Zealand, those countries, if their captain is not performing, I can tell you now, they will drop the captain.
Not
They will
true.
drop the captain.
Not true. Aaron
Okay.
Finch was terribly off form. Aaron Finch was terribly off form before the World Cup and during the World Cup too. But they kept picking him as the captain.
Are you talking
England,
about
Owen
T20s
Morgan.
now?
T20s, yes. Owen Morgan, there was a period where he was terribly out of form as well. Didn't score any runs. They still picked him as captain. So the captains are very
Agreed. But
important, but I understand what what you're saying because Timber's ridiculously awful
my
at
thing
times.
is this, Khalid, though,
And
but
also
those are, if we compare,
we have a player that is in form on the bench. That's the big concern.
yes.
I think
And
that's
my
the
thing is this,
major
Khalid,
concern.
those are the players you name there, those captains, those are T20 specialists, right? Them are not T20 specialists. That's the difference.
Depends what you
So
call a T20 specialist, of course, because I mean, like I said, it depends what it depends what
I mean, we can't,
we can argue about this for till days till
but we can't
death
compare
do us
Tema
part.
Bavuma to Aaron Finch and to Owen
You
Morgan. I
can't
mean, it's
current
daylight in
no, you
cricket.
can't. No, but you can't because they're also they're different types of players completely. And also Owen Morgan's not going to open the batting in T20 cricket, so it's completely different case we're talking about over here. But when you look at
And a perfect example. But if you look at Owen Morgan, this is my last point. If you look at Owen Morgan, when he was out of form, he said when he tossed the coin, he said, "Look here, if I'm out of form, I will tell my coach that I'm not going to play. He will sacrifice himself so the other guy can play. That is in form." But why isn't our selectors and our captain doing that? That's my thing. He said it on live TV that he will do that. Owen Morgan.
yeah, he said that on live TV, but I don't know if he's ever done it, has he? It's easy to
Say
say
again.
things on. It's easy to say things, but also you must also do it. Like you know what I mean. If it ever happens, I know, but this is not a debate about that because currently I agree with you that Temba's not in form and he shouldn't be selected in the T20s in the T2011 based on form because I always thought that this team was going to pick on form. You see, they let me believe that they're going to be picking on form, and then I bought into that idea, and then they switched again because one thing the selectors have been consistent about, and we can't disagree on this one, I think, is that whenever there is a player that they back or they're behind, they back them until they come right. They've done it with Quinny now, they've done it with Aiden, they've done it with
Markram.
Markram, they've done it with many players, they've done it with actually in the past. Antile for a while they did it with. So they've been consistent with regards to that. No matter how much we've kicked and screamed about it, we have to commend them for being consistent with regards to that at least. So if they didn't do it with Quinny would never come back to form, wouldn't have been in form right now. If they didn't do it with Aiden doesn't get a half century like he did today. If they didn't do it with REEZA even back in the day, remember there was a period where REEZA was struggling too, that they kept on picking him through that struggle.
Yes.
So at least there's consistency with regards to that. And we're just going to have to believe that South Africa make the right decisions when it comes to the crunch times in this World Cup now. But personally, I thought that it was okay if Pavuma was going to play in every single match on on these tours. Remember what I said before when Pavuma was selected as the captain, and I said he needs to play in every single game leading up to the World Cup, then to show us that he can get himself at least a couple of innings because we don't expect. I mean, there could be that one match in the World Cup that you might need a gritty and Pavuma to bat and win you a match, for example. And it could come in handy. This is supposed to be a squad effort, right? But in cricket, it's not as easy as in other sports to make those type of subs. They need to pick what's best for these conditions, but they also need to pick based on form. And at the moment, REEZA Hendricks is the most adaptable out of the top three at the moment. His game is adaptable. It doesn't matter what position he's been put in, he's performed. When he needed to score quickly from the start, he did it. When he's needed to be kind of the anchor type of guy, he's done it. And when he needs to just bat freely and have a consistent balanced game, he's done it too. So he's shown all three facets of what you need in that top order. I can't see why they don't select him in this World Cup. So I agree with you on that. Your last words, Lorenzo, before I say that to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just feel like in rugby, like in football, I think they should have regular press conferences with the selectors as well. I feel that Victor Pitsang should front up more to the media. He must be more transparent to the media. In Khalid, I don't know if you noticed also, I don't know why the media guys don't ask the tough questions in the press conference to the players, to Temba himself, and to the coaches. It's almost like they don't want to open a can of worms. They don't want to ask the tough questions because it will maybe make them feel make the person who's receiving the message uncomfortable or the question uncomfortable. So why don't you ask Mark Boucher? Mark Boucher,
what are you gonna do? It's like prior to the series, but what are you gonna do if Timber doesn't score runs in the ODI series? He doesn't score runs in the T20 series. Is he still gonna be a captain at the T20 World Cup, or will you look at REEZA Hendricks as well? But our
But
reporters doesn't
he
ask
was
those
asked
type
that.
of hard questions.
He was asked that, and he said it. He said Timber's our captain. No matter what happens, Timber's our captain. He's been consistent in that at least. But I know we're fighting about it. But Mark Bouch has been very clear that Pavuma is his opening batsman and captain, no matter what. He's been very, very, very clear. He even said it. There's a video clip that we posted online about it as well, where he says he
Yeah.
backs Timber to the moon and back. They're not going to sit. They believe that Timber's the right person. So I know we fight amongst each other about what's the right and wrong, and it's actually pointless because at the end of the day, Bouch has been very clear and consistent with regards to that. We know that they've decided that, and that's what they want, and
Do
they
you think?
believe.
Do you think
And
Victor?
I can believe that Boucher is the type of guy that believes that captaincy is more important. I can see that because when he was playing, captaincy
Yeah.
was so important, you know, and having a leader that everybody can bring everybody together and make sure that everybody maintains a calm mind under pressure is very important for South Africa because we've always crumbled under pressure in pressure situations, even with good captains. We've done it. We calculated incorrectly in 2003. We got run out in the 97 World Cup or 99 World Cup. We were putrid with regards to our decision making with regards to who must play in the bowling departments with regards to 2015.
Yeah. And
Crumbled under
and now we're gonna play qualifiers as well.
yeah, so under pressure, South Africa's it's good to have a calm head, and today I didn't see it from Keshav. So, for example, like I don't think he made very good decisions as a captain today, and I don't know if Muller can do the whole entire World Cup as well as a captain. We don't know, and I don't know how much it's going to affect his batting performance as well, which we can't, I don't want to fidget with before a World Cup. I don't want to fidget with one of our best batters and have to put so much pressure on him so close to a World Cup. So I don't think Bavuma's selfish actually. He's taking the captaincy on and taking all the scrutiny and criticism and taking it on and saying, I'll take the responsibility, even though everybody's against it. I think that takes a lot of balls to do something like that, to be honest. It would be easier for him to just say, you know what,
Okay.
I'm going to step away. I'm not going to step away from the captaincy and I'm just going to focus on my batting rather. It's actually easier for him to do something like that. But Boucher and the coaching
okay.
staff, they believe that he's the right man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to argue with him at the end of the day. We did ask him in the press conferences, and he told
Yes.
us straight out, Pavuma's our man. And they don't
But
believe that
that's why I
Pavuma's not
said
a
that.
T20 player.
But that's what I said. My last point. As we all know, Bouts doesn't select his team. He may say, okay, I prefer this and this and this player, but he's not selecting the team, right?
No,
But
he's not.
why
He's,
doesn't
he's part of it.
I res-
He's definitely part of it. It's easy
Yes.
for you to say that now,
But I
Lorenzo,
mean-
and take that and cancel that out. He's part of it. He's part of the selection panel. Him
Yes.
and the selectors
100%.
select
I'm
that
not saying
team.
he's part of it. That's why I said
But
he gives his input.
He has the final
but,
say.
but
He definitely has the final say.
does he have the
I'm
final
telling you, he
say?
has the. I'm
In the con-
definitely sure
and
that,
the convener?
that he has the convener of selectors currently will talk to the other selectors and Boucher's part of that selection panel, and they come up to a conclusion on who's the final selection. That team that's what gets selected.
Okay.
Remember that
Now-
that 11 that plays is the coach and the captain. The selector doesn't get heavily involved with that. They can say, I don't think, because there's a lot of the times where Victor is not even in the country, but the team has been selected before a match. Remember that final match has been selected. He might approve it and he said, okay, cool, yes or no. But I don't think he has full say over the final 11 that gets picked. That is Boucher and the captain of the team. I'm not
Okay,
going to go
yes.
with this
Okay.
narrative that
Right.
Boucher gets controlled by what CSA wants. That's bull. I'm not going with that narrative. Boucher does what he wants to do. It's clear and simple. That's how the type of person that he is. He has control.
you-
He's not.
but you-
Boucher's not under control of people. I don't believe that.
Do you feel it? Did you feel the coaches in the past also had that type of control that Boucher have?
I think that the coaches in the past it worked the
I
same
feel
way.
Russell Domingo didn't have. I feel Russell Domingo was handicapped a bit.
I think Russell Domingo had a different issue. Russell Domingo walked in the dressing room where the people in the dressing room were extreme talents, players at
Yes.
levels that he wouldn't have even dreamed being as a player himself. and he's walking to a very strong dressing room where there's a core group of strong leadership. I feel that's where the problem lied with regards to someone like Russell Domingo, who is a strong man who expects control and expects to be the person that's in control of every decision. And I think he maybe needed to ease that up a little bit when he walked into a dressing room with those superstars all around him. He needed to find a way to work with everybody and make everybody happy. The dressing room was very much controlled by that senior group of players for a very long time. That is the reality of what's, and that's why people like Graham Smith can get high positions like they have in CSA and high positions that they have in cricket, because the power that they had as players was so hectic when they were players back in the day. From what I've heard
Yeah.
from senior journalists and people around and ex-players, etc.
Okay. So, but I'm trying to say, Khalid, I just want Victor Pitsang to front up the media more often as well. You know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with you.
He must.
I've told him
Yes,
that.
he might.
I've told him that.
Yes, because at the moment we know Victor Pitsang, but many people doesn't even know how we look like. You know what his philosophy is, because we don't hear
Well,
him speak
I
enough.
don't. Well, I don't. That doesn't pass for me because we did an exclusive when he was 2 hours after he was selected as the selectors. We did an exclusive on the
Yeah.
channel, so everybody should know. Everybody should know. Look here, I'll try my best. Look here, you must also understand that the amount of pressure that's on Victor Mpasang at the moment, like there is tremendous amount of pressure.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why he's off
immense.
social media. That's why he's off social media. Now, I'm not making excuses for him because it's not. It's a difficult job, and I'm not making excuses, but he needs to make the right decisions as well. And I don't agree with, and it's okay for us not to agree with everything that he does. I would like him to front up to the media more. I even said this to him personally. I said, can't you come on more and just be a little bit more transparent with us so that we understand the direction that you are going as a selection group, as a selection panel. We don't know also the pressures that are under them with regards to the transformation targets, etc. If that, how that is being calculated and how far behind or ahead they are, etc. We don't know that information, and it makes it hard for us because then we become all bitter and we become so critical all the time because we don't understand the reasons why. You know, the fact that there was right now that there was infections with Shamsi and Temba, and it's like it's almost crazy in a way because it was both of the players that were most scrutinized in the last game. It almost like makes you think
Yes.
conspiracies, and we shouldn't think that way. We shouldn't have these thoughts of conspiracies that this person's against that person. We should believe
Yeah.
that the coach and the players are going out in the middle and trying their best 100% every single time they walk out in the middle, and I believe that that is the case. But at the moment, there's been some unlucky things that have been happening. There's a dilemma with regard to the captain currently. I mean, look here, it's not only South African cricket that has that issue with a captain that's underperforming. I mean, I
No, it's
remember
a
when
Springboks as well.
I mean, the Springboks, it happened with the Springboks before. When
Yeah.
John Smith was even selected as captain
He
at that
was.
time,
Yeah, he was
people
criticized a lot.
people were criticized a lot. So it's not like it's the first time that a captain's been picked that is underperforming in the history of sport. It's happened
Yes.
before in many other sports. So I know we're going to go because there's a racial connotation involved with it as well.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little bit harder for us. But unfortunately, we need to deal with it as best as possible. Lorenzo, final words from you before I say bye?
Yeah, I just hope the last game. I just hope you can play a more attacking brand of cricket.
Yeah.
If Timber is fit, I personally think he should play. We need. Look, I'm sure Timber is going to play the World Cup. I've put my heart on it. I put my mind on it. I'm not going to stress about it. He's going to play the World Cup, whether we like it or not. He's going to play. So I just hope if he gets his chance, last ODI, scores runs, take a bit of confidence into the two warm-up games, score
Mm.
runs there as well. Because if you saw the game today between Australia and I think it was England, yeah, it was a high-scoring game. The pitches is going to be flat. And for me personally, I think a player like REEZA Hendricks, who's a stroke player, is gonna perform on those
Oh.
pitches. He's gonna love those kind of pitches. He through the line.
Mm.
He's gonna love it. So
Uh-huh.
I just hope.
Not
I,
much
I hope. I
movement.
hope.
This
Yeah. So I just hope Timber scores some runs. And I'm very, very proud of Heinrich Klaasen as well. Just to mention to him as well, Khalid. I mean, the guy
yeah,
sits on the bench just like REEZA. I think Delstein
and then
tweeted
he
it
can.
out today that we actually have a strong bench in REEZA Hendricks and Heinrich Klaasen. It's just going to be how do we utilize them when there's players they don't perform at the World Cup because you can't get any passengers. And I told my brother also the other day, I'm not going
Khalid, I want us to win this World Cup. We have no excuses not to win this World Cup. I want us to win this World Cup. We have the team, we have the squad, we have the bowlers, and we have the batters. We
Yeah,
have
we
the
definitely
fielding.
do.
We have the fielding dynamic. So
Definitely
I
do.
want no excuses. We must win this World Cup. That's where I'm at.
We did. We're 100% correct. And I think maybe for the next match, perhaps maybe giving David Miller a little bit of a rest, I think would be a good idea.
Yeah, and
He's batted. He's batted fine today. He batted fine in the ODI before. He's done well in the T2. There's no need to tie him out. Maybe give REEZA Hendricks another opportunity, and bring Temba back in. That's an opportunity to do that
Timber
now
back
if
in,
he
yes.
comes back. Yeah, and then everybody that's out of form can have a go, and we can have a proper go, because I don't know what's going to happen in this ODI format. But anyway,
Khalid,
guys, thanks a lot.
can I just ask you
Yeah,
one last question?
yeah, bro.
Where do you see maybe
Do you personally see Tristan Stubbs and Riley Rousseau in our ODI squad soon? Because I personally can see that.
I'm not so sure about Riley because of the future of South African cricket. I'm looking younger. So
yes,
because of I'm thinking 2023 World Cup. Okay, now I understand there's another World Cup coming up in 2023. But
yes,
I'm thinking younger for the next person. I think T20s is fine for Riley at the age that he is, but to us to invest into an older guy like him now, I don't think that's maybe the right move. I think maybe going a Diava Brevis direction would be a better option for
yes,
us. Maybe someone down the line of the Diava Brevises of the world and other number threes that are in the setup. Maybe even when Zubair Hamza comes back, that could possibly be a number three position for him
yeah.
going forward. Because I know I've heard that he's very hungry to come back to cricket again. He starts again in December, January. So that's another option. Reina van Tonder still in the mix over there. We've got Marcus Ackerman. We've got a lot of young number threes that I feel that we should rather give opportunities. Even Tony De Zorzi.
Ozzy.
So we've got a lot of young number threes coming through. I feel that should be ahead of Riley, but Tristan Stubbs definitely. There's
Yeah,
like no like
definitely.
if we have, for example, Tiva Brevis and Tristan Stubbs in the same team, we're gonna be flipping
Wow.
deadly, bro.
Because the reason I'm
And
asking, because we all know Muller's not going to play long anymore, right? Muller's
yeah,
probably just going to play the World Cup next year, and then he's probably going to retire and enjoy the leagues around the globe. So that's why I feel they must blood him in slowly into the ODI setup.
now.
So when he retires, then Tristan Stubbs can just step in.
Yes, there must be a couple of games where a player can like almost mask another player or shadow them in a period.
Yes,
Like so at the moment, yes, for our next number three, unfortunately, there isn't that for him. But we should have the next person that could maybe shadow a likes of Quinton de Kock. It would be great to have a guy like Daniel Smith. We could keep a baton, a
yeah.
left-hander,
Working with the
opener,
cock.
be able to working with the cock. Imagine that now at the moment, having that in the World Cup, having that guy on the in the or at the series, in a series where Quinton de Kock is still batting, having him shadow him. I mean, that's the importance of having these experienced guys in the team, is so that the younger guys can come in and learn from them. They don't have to play matches, but be with them in the
No.
nets. Learn how they learn their work, learn how their professionalism, what they eat, what they do on the weekend, how they get
Yes.
themselves focused before games. Those are all important nuggets that they can learn that we are depriving our youngsters from because we never do the transition at the right time. That's my problem. And there's certain aspects, even with our fast bowlers now. You got this young under 19 bowler that is doing exceptionally well at the moment. Everybody's calling him the next Rabada. Put him in the
But
next with
even
Rabada.
Lazat, but even Lazat should be part of the ODI squad.
I don't
Yeah,
know why he's not there.
yeah, but that's another talk for
But yeah,
another time. But guys,
yeah.
thanks a lot for tuning in. Lorenzo shot a
Yes,
lot for
man.
coming on as well, bro. To everybody out there, thanks a
Thanks.
lot for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to also smash the like button, comment, and do all of those things. Download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Help us grow South African cricket and promote it by becoming a Patreon. Go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. Thanks a lot to everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you again tomorrow with another previous show. Hope you enjoy the last bit of your weekend. Take care. God bless. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Peace out.